So, Tom, tip us off.
We're gonna go back to our top fives.
Top fives, classics.
We did TV shows. We're gonna flip it to movies.
Ooh, okay. Movies. Hey, Tom.
Yeah.
What do cows like to do on the weekends? Shit, did I give that away too soon? No, I'm just kidding. Do you want to start off with honorable mentions, or do you want to do like we usually do when we go down to like 2 and then do honorable mentions?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right.
I don't really have too many honorable mentions.
Okay. Yeah, I just have like 3.
Yeah. So.
Do you want to start, or do you want me to start?
You can start.
Okay. My number 5 is The Dark Knight, Batman movie. Is that your number 5 too? So we both have The Dark Knight as their number 5, and I don't really get into superhero movies that much.
Yeah, I definitely don't. That's just a work of art.
I mean, if there were 2 words to sum up why I love The Dark Knight so much, it's Heath Ledger. Because I mean,
you're The Dark Knight. I'm The Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, okay, so that's different then.
Yeah.
So you don't know Tom's number 5 yet, but the way that he was able to portray the Joker and
it was nuts.
Yeah, especially because we've talked about it when we watch Game of Thrones, especially now that I get older, whether it's watching a TV show or watching a movie in general, when the acting is that good and you become emotionally invested into that character because of how good the acting is, it just makes the movie or TV show so much more exceptional.
Yeah, it blows it through the roof.
Because we've talked about it before, because you didn't like this last season of Game of Thrones that much, but you're like, the acting just makes it so fucking incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you have good actors, you can make any piece of shit decent at least.
Yeah, and I'm not a huge movie buff. I'm not going to be one that's just see these outrageous amount of movies.
Yeah, same.
But if there's one, if you were to say, okay, off the top of your head, one actor performance that sticks out in your head, Heath Ledger as the Joker sticks out in every shape, way, or form.
Yeah, it was, and J.J. Abrams did all the new Batman movies, right?
The Dark Knight was Christopher Nolan, I think.
Oh, it's Christopher Nolan that did all of them, sorry.
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan did a fucking ridiculous job with all of them.
Dunkirk, too.
Yeah, because Batman Begins is an awesome movie, too.
Mm-hmm.
And all 3 of them, it's superhero, but it's not really superhero.
And especially The Dark Knight.
It's pretty fucking intense.
Yeah, The Dark Knight, that shit was dark.
Yeah.
The way that, and especially, when you look at with...
Harvey Two-Face.
Yeah, exactly. And you look at, the after effects of Heath Ledger playing that character.
You saw what happened. Yeah.
He said he had nightmares to the point where he was so invested into that character that in his
thought
nightmares,
it was him.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I don't mean to sound like this insensitive at all, but that's probably why he played it so well.
Yeah.
Because when you get that invested into a character, and I listen to or read some of these things about how actors get into their characters and how they read up on stuff or even go and experience certain things that their character will do in order to get into
like
that
method acting and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. In order to get into that character, and it just seems nuts to me. And to go along with it, you're doing this fantastic performance around like 60 people with like 40 different cameras, boom mics, everything, guy eating donuts in the back, and yet you're going to have to do this and put on this flawless performance to the point where you're portraying a character like the Joker, that dark and intense of a character. Because, something like Suicide Squad with Jared Leto, they barely gave him any lines to begin with, and that was kind of a disappointment. But just that, the type of character that he portrayed as the Joker, it was still like kind of dark and twisted, but it seemed more cartoony.
Right.
And Heath Ledger's version of Joker just seemed so real. Yeah. And I think that's why it stood out.
Yeah, I agree.
It was
a great movie.
Yeah, like I said, pretty much him portraying the Joker, because like I said, I don't really get into superhero movies at all.
Yeah.
And the fact that is able to make it to my top 5, it's pretty much all because of him.
Right.
Yeah. So what's your number 5?
So my number 5 is Dark Knight Rises.
Nice.
Because I forgot that it was The Dark Knight and then Dark Knight Rises.
Which one was that?
That was the one with Bane.
Bane, okay.
And the thing is, I loved The Dark Knight because of Heath Ledger, but I thought the scenes without him kind of got jumbled and lost a little bit. Mm-hmm. Whereas with The Dark Knight Rises, I thought everything was perfect.
Yeah.
And
Tom Hardy's the man.
And yeah,
one of my favorite actors.
Anything that Tom Hardy's in, I'll go at least see.
Yeah.
So I loved that movie. I thought Bane was fantastic, but I thought that the plot progression was fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
And it was a great way to end the trilogy, the new trilogy. So I loved it through and through. Music is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, you know how we love music here.
Yeah, so music was fucking perfect. Storyline was perfect. Lines were good. It's just Christian Bale plays a good Batman too.
Yeah.
it was just a good ass movie.
Yeah. Do you like Christian Bale as Batman rather than Ben Affleck?
I haven't seen it any of the new ones with Ben Affleck.
Oh, you didn't see Batman vs Superman?
No, I didn't see it.
That was
and they shot it at Michigan State, so you'd think I'd see it.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Yeah, it was. It wasn't a great movie, but I think people gave it too much shit for it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I didn't see it.
Fair enough. So my number 4, and this is probably where in our top 4 maybe, except my number 1 might be on your top 5, but my number 4 is Man on Fire, and that is with Denzel Washington. Did you ever see this?
Mm-hmm. You hear about this?
You hear this? You see this? Man on Fire. The synopsis of the movie is that Denzel Washington is a babysitter for this rich family, and then daughter gets kidnapped, and then he goes through. It's kind of like a mini Taken almost, but it just goes through. And the way they do certain scenes where they have flashbacks or they have, like, because Denzel goes through like a few mental conditions and mental disabilities to the point where he remembers certain events that happened to him in the past that reflect on him in the current day. And Denzel Washington's my favorite actor of all time, so obviously I'm a bit biased, but just the whole revamp on the whole kidnap, get back type of action movie, because I mean that's done 10 times over. So if you're able to do that and do it in a unique way to the point where he's going through this, and there's a twist at the end that's kind of like, it's not one of those action movies where, oh, you're swinging from a rope as the building behind you explodes and everybody like lives happily ever after. And I kind of like movies like that because it makes the movie more real and more relatable to the point where if you were to go through a situation like this and you were Denzel Washington, the chances that you're going to get the girl back and be all happy-go-lucky and just be completely safe is very, very low if you know the situation surrounding the movie. So the way they do the twist ending and spoilers aside, the movie's been out for years and years and years, so I'm not going to spoil anything. But what happens is that he trades himself pretty much because he's like this known hitman. He trades himself for the safety of the girl. So that twist ending to the point where literally the last scene in the movie is, because I think he has a gunshot wound. The last scene of the movie is him being put in the back of the car to go away with the bad guys, and he dies in the back seat. So the way the movie does that, and it makes it so real, and especially when you talk about how much people get into characters, how complex and deep and emotionally connected that character was, and how Denzel played it just flawlessly, was definitely another reason why I liked it so much.
Yeah, that's fair. And it's just like a different take, like you said, on an action movie. Yeah. And like I'm not huge into action movies at all, so anything that's like a little bit more twisty is kind of nice. Yeah,
and movies that are not just action-y to be action-y.
Right, yeah, that's, more so that.
And then one of my favorite quotes, and I think I can get it right, was when, it was something to do with, judgment is between a man and God. It's my job to arrange the meeting. I think that's how it went. Yeah. It was right before he shot a rocket launcher at this car that was like a main source of information to find the girl. And he said that to just some random guy that he like infiltrated the house and got like a good vantage point. And the dude asked him why he had a rocket launcher, and he said that judgment is between a man and God. It's my job to arrange the meeting. And just that line is so awesome. Yeah. And let alone to have Denzel say it. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So what's your number 4?
Numero cuatro is none other than Django Unchained.
Really? That was on my honorable mentions. Because it made appearances in my top 5 because I was like deliberating, so it was definitely up there.
I could watch that movie literally 20,000 times and love it every single time.
And that's rare because it's like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, and it's so good because, any Quentin Tarantino movie I'll probably like. The only one that I can think of that I still don't really understand is Death Proof. But other than that,
is that the one where the girl has a machine gun for a leg?
No.
Okay, that's because that was one of those with like a 2-parter. Remember?
Are you talking about Kill Bill?
No. It was something. It was Tarantino, but
it was
I forget the name. I forget the name of it.
It's like Machina or something like that. Yeah. Oh fuck.
Something like that.
I'll look it up.
Or was it Machete with Danny Trejo?
That's probably what it was.
Was that Quentin Tarantino?
I don't think it was Quentin Tarantino.
That wasn't Quentin Tarantino?
I don't think so.
Oh. Because while you're looking it up, another Quentin Tarantino movie that I saw, and especially it's revered as one of the best movies, Pulp Fiction.
If you're going to tell me that you didn't like Pulp Fiction.
No, I'm not saying I didn't like it, but people revere it as like one of the greatest movies of all time.
It's magic.
Yeah, and I didn't feel that strongly towards it, but I'm by no means saying that it's a bad movie. It's a great movie, but I just wouldn't put it. I mean, obviously it's not.
Yeah,
my
that
top
wasn't
five,
that wasn't Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, it wasn't?
Because Hateful Eight just came out, and that was his 8th movie. So you have Kill Bill 1 and 2. You have Django. You have Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Glorious Bastards, Hateful Eight.
Another great movie.
And let's see, what else am I forgetting? Jackie Brown.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I honestly, I didn't even see Hateful Eight yet, which is preposterous.
Great movie.
Django Unchained, Jamie Foxx might be my favorite actor of all time.
He played that role so phenomenally.
I just love Jamie Foxx just as a person.
Yeah, his personality is great.
He's fucking awesome. And so he played that role really well. I thought that the cameos from someone like Leonardo DiCaprio fucking nailed.
I love Leo so much.
I mean, you want to talk about an actor that you love, but a character that you hate?
Yeah.
It's him in that movie.
Yeah, you can love somebody that just plays such a shitty character.
Yeah. He plays this role of, I fucking hate the character he's playing, but he's so goddamn good at it.
Yeah.
So, and then was it Christoph Walken? Or what's the
Christopher
Walken?
That's
he.
Samuel Jackson's in it too.
Yeah, well, he's in every Tarantino movie. But Christopher Walken, what's the character's name?
Oh, that I don't remember.
I can't remember.
Because I only saw Django Unchained once, but it was a long time
Christopher
ago.
Walken, again, he plays that role fucking immaculately.
Yeah.
And it's like the quick twist of his mustache, like the little tiny details of just the body language, the one-liners where like Django goes and kills somebody and he's like, I'm saying you owe me $600.
Yeah.
Blah, blah. All those are perfect. Then you have the hilarious cameo with Seth Rogen with Jonah Hill.
Oh,
and,
yes, that whole scene. Yes.
Someone else, and it's with the bags, and they're just like, I can't see shit.
Yeah. Let's all agree that the bags were a bad idea.
That they could have been done better. You all can fuck off.
Yeah. I was in absolute tears. And it's so funny because only Tarantino can get an actor like Jonah Hill to play that such a small cameo.
Yeah. And it just shows like, it's dark as fuck. The Mandingo fighting is very hard to watch.
Yeah,
the dogs is pretty rough.
That's brutal.
But the fact that we can get from there to that scene with Jonah Hill and like you can be like uncomfortable in the movie theater to laughing your ass off just shows like how fucking good he is.
Yeah, that's literally just that's if you were to put a sentence in the epitome of Tarantino to the point where you're massively uncomfortable and 5 minutes later you're dying laughing. That's the epitome of his movies. Yeah. So it was in my honorable mentions. It's definitely a great movie. So my number 3 is two of my top 3 are comedies. I'll just preface it with that. But my number 3 is Happy Gilmore.
Nice.
And I remember seeing for Happy Gilmore first of all, the quotes and they're
timeless.
Yeah, I mean the one-liners. And if you go golfing a whole round without either A, referencing Happy Gilmore, or B, trying the Happy Gilmore swing off the tee, then you might as well not even golf.
You're a super millennial.
Yeah, you're losing money at that point. But just the one-liners.
The old Adam Sandler movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Like those cult classics.
Yeah. And if I can watch a movie, and it's the same thing with my number 1, if I can watch a movie like especially comedy movies, because usually you think of comedy movies where you watch them laugh one time and maybe you'll laugh again a little bit, but it won't be obviously as much. Happy Gilmore, I laugh at that shit hysterically every single time I watch the movie. So if you're able to do that, and with my love of comedy movies, and if you can make me laugh and your name's not Seth MacFarlane, then you got pretty good humor.
Yeah.
So it just timeless. I remember like memories as a kid. I remember I watched that movie like 8 times in 3 days on VHS. Back was on VHS with my brothers and stuff, and just dying laughing and just in tears every single time I watched it. So yeah, that's my number 3.
That Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, Waterboy.
Yeah.
I mean,
see, I never got into Waterboy that much, but Billy Madison, oof.
Yeah. Waterboy's pretty great though.
Yeah. that character was a little bit too silly for me.
Yeah.
But Billy Madison, I mean, that's
Billy Madison is fucking fun.
Eat your soup, Billy.
Yeah.
It's good soup. So what's your number 3?
So mine is not a comedy.
Okay.
It's The Godfather.
Oh, nice.
Ba-boom, right above me.
I don't know if you can. You can probably see it.
A little bit.
Can they see it? Yeah, a little bit.
They can see the there.
There you go. Boom, there it is. Yeah, if you don't know, if you can't see it, it's the Godfather scene where Corleone goes back to Italy.
And I mean, you can say what you want about Godfather Part 2, Part 3. If it wasn't your cup of tea, whatever. I'm usually more of an original. Like, I like the first of series generally.
Oh, yeah.
Just because it sets everything up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some of these, for instance, like Dark Knight Rises was not the original. But The Godfather is just, you want to talk about the most perfect mob movie.
Yeah.
Like, it can't be outdone.
Yeah.
It really can't because it's too perfect. The music in it, that soundtrack is fucking unbelievable. If you drive a Rolls Royce and don't listen to just that, I don't know what. Do you?
Why'd you even buy it?
Yeah, I don't even understand anything anything that's like $500,000 or more. Just cruise around, listen to Godfather music.
Yeah.
But
you should be driving and listening to Godfather music on your way to the golf course to make Happy Gilmore jokes.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. But the costumes are great. Yeah. And again, when you can make a movie in certain time periods and kind of transform it back. Because obviously the Italian mob in today's world, it's not the same thing.
No.
Does it still exist? Sure, but it's just not the same. But to transform back into a time where you had dudes that were wearing full-blown black and white pinstripe suits and fedoras with Tommy guns and just that accent.
Those suits back in the day were so sick.
Yeah, and that accent and just that fucking just like no mercy, just sorry, you fuck with me, you're dead.
Tommy gun in general is such a badass gun.
It's just, I don't know why I'm on the mob side, but I'm in. Yeah. Sign me up.
Yeah. And a quick anecdote about The Godfather to the point where it actually kind of got ruined for me, but not in a bad way because I play The Godfather the game before I actually watch the movie, and The Godfather the game is based around the entirety of the first movie. So there were so many scenes where Sammy getting gunned down at the the ticket, like to get across whatever border that he was going to. That whole scene, like that's a big scene in the Godfather movie. And they do that exact scene in the video game. And we talk about how when we play video games that are based off of movies that they're usually shitty. But I mean, that is one of the more fun games I've played in my video game career, that especially when it comes to applying to a movie. But it just kind of sucked because I remember watching Godfather 1 and having, beat The Godfather the game. I remember watching it for the first time with my dad, and I was just like, shit, I know what happens. I know what happens next, and this kind of sucks.
Yeah.
So, but it didn't take away from the fact that it was a phenomenal
It's a great movie. Yeah. Right.
For sure. Good call.
Classic.
So my number 2 is Insidious, and if you haven't watched our show before, you know that we are gigantic horror movie buffs, and this is my number 1 numero uno horror movie, like a bar none above everything else that I've seen. It doesn't really even come close. The feeling that I had leaving that theater and just the individual scenes that I can pick out in my head that, I mean, I won't say anything, especially, I mean, it's been out for years, but a horror movie, you just don't want to spoil that type of stuff. Yeah. But there were just scenes in there that just gave me chills all the way down my spine that just no other movie or experience, period, aside from PT on the PlayStation 4, has given me with a horror experience. And the way that, because obviously horror movies have been done 2 times over, and there's so many different forms of like the same idea almost, but to take an original idea and display it as an effective way to scare the viewer to the point where, I mean, it's like a common known thing that horror movies today they all suck pretty much. Aside from there's like a select few where all the ratings are usually shitty and it's all just, the biggest rag on is like the characters are too dumb or the scenario seems too easy or not even like plausible, because certain horror movies like Poltergeist, I don't really get into those because I don't get into the supernatural and stuff that I can't believe can actually happen. And I'm not saying Insidious could actually happen, but they like walk on that line between what could actually happen and what couldn't actually happen depending on what you believe. And the way they were able to formulate the scenes with the sounds and the images that they portrayed on the screen, that it just absolutely shook me to the core when I was watching it. And I've watched it several times and legitimately gotten scared from each one, even though I know what's coming. So with how big of a horror movie buff I am, if you can scare me to that level and to go along with it, you're not just scaring me pointlessly. It's a good movie to go along with it. So if you can achieve both of those things, you're going to be on my top 5, let alone my number 2.
That's fair.
Yeah. So what's your number 2?
My numero dos is Mad Max Fury Road.
Nice. None of one of my honorable mentions.
And I got I've watched the original Mad Maxes, and they're fucking good.
Really?
I mean,
Yeah, see, I've never seen the original.
It's with Mel Gibson plays Max, and it was kind of nice to do that because then when the new one came out, there's some little side things that you just kind of, oh yeah, I remember that, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. Just like quirky things in general. But I mean, you want to talk about genres that you personally like, post-apocalypse, you do it,
Yeah.
I'm all in
Yeah.
every single time. But the fact, I would say that the biggest contributing factor of this movie is the fact that I think less than 1% of it was CGI, and every car in it was real. Every explosion in it was real. The flamethrowers were real. The guns shots. I mean, everything about it,
And you notice it
was
when
real. And that's the thing is,
Yeah.
if you didn't know that going into it, you'd watch it and be like, "Wow, this looks really fucking good."
CGI is crazy.
And then if you read into it and you see how they set these scenes up, it is insane.
Yeah.
And like, if you haven't seen a trailer for the movie, look it up because I can't even describe the vehicles that they use.
Yeah.
But think about like a fucking 150-foot or separate speaker setup on top of like
the guitar guy.
Yeah, two trucks that are like soldered together.
Yeah.
And maybe that gives you kind of an idea.
Not to mention Tom Hardy's in it. So
Yeah. Well, yeah, Tom Hardy's in it, so it's amazing.
Yeah.
But Charlize Theron plays a really good job as
Oh, yeah.
Furiosa, and it's just I do have a beef with it, but I'm not a huge fan of remakes usually, but I think that they did okay with getting away from the old and putting in a new plot, and I just think that the environment, the characters, the makeup, everything just really makes you believe that, holy shit, maybe this is what the post-apocalypse is going to be like.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like,
Not to mention from when the movie starts, when Tom Hardy does the flashback, from as soon as the movie starts, that shit never ends.
Yeah, it goes. And again, I'm not a huge action movie guy, but this is just like necessary action.
Yeah.
So goddamn, it was awesome.
And it's not just action for action's sake.
Yeah.
You do it in a unique
exactly.
way. Even though they not only do they do it in a unique way, and like you said, we're not a fan of action movies, but if you can make a movie 100% action
yeah.
from start to finish, and we love it as much as we love Mad Max, then you made a damn good movie.
So fucking awesome.
Yeah. So my number one.
Well, before you do number one, do you want to do
Oh yeah.
honorables?
Django Unchained was one.
Okay.
So Mad Max was another. So a couple of my other ones were Inception and Shutter Island. Both shout out to Leonardo DiCaprio. Great movies, especially Shutter Island, because you want to talk about a movie that really makes you think and a twist that blows your balls off at the end. That's Shutter Island's all the way. And then, like I said, Mad Max, Django, and then Casino Royale as well. Because the newer James Bonds, Skyfall was really, really good. I like that. Quantum Solace sucked. But Casino Royale was Daniel Craig's first 007.
Casino Royale was a great movie.
Yeah, and especially the main, what's her name? The Bond girl from, I forget the actress's name. But she was really good, and obviously, like, the Bond girl is supposed to be just, like, this smoking hot supermodel, but the fact that she was able to be very attractive and play, like, a damn good character, and especially where at the end of the movie where they have, like, an emotional connection and, like, she betrays him, and then he tries to save her, and then she, like, doesn't allow him to save her because of what she did, and the way that you're able to make that complex and not just, like we talked about, everybody's happily ever after,
right.
Then it makes for a good movie.
And there's some comedy in it too.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
Daniel Craig's an awesome James Bond.
Yeah.
So it definitely plays along with it. So yeah, that was my last one. What are some of your, did you have any?
I would say Star Wars. I think The Force Awakens is the best Star Wars movie to date.
Yeah, and a lot of people ripped on it for like kind of being a remake, but I thought it was really good.
People ripped on it?
Yeah. Well,
It did really fucking well with ratings and reviews.
maybe I'm thinking of something else.
Probably
something else.
Because that did
Maybe I'm just thinking of South
that
Park.
did really well.
Yeah.
But I thought that was, and I like the original Star Wars. The first three, I remember when they came out as a kid, I was a kid, so I liked them. So
Yeah.
everyone shits on them now, but I wasn't an adult, so
Yeah.
maybe if I rewatched them now, they would suck.
Yeah, and I'm not even a Star Wars guy, and I liked it.
Yeah, and Rogue One was good too. I'm not disrespecting Rogue One. I think Force Awakens was better, but they
I
were
haven't
both
even
were
seen
good.
Rogue One yet.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of Monty Python Holy Grail, fucking classic
Nice.
ass movie.
Nice.
This is the end because I don't have any
yeah.
comedies on my top 5, so those two would be like, if I think about what movie made me laugh my ass off the entire time, those would definitely be up there. This is tough because there's just so many random movies that I really liked.
Yeah,
so.
that's what I ran into the problem when I was generating my top 5 in general.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know if I could pick out certain ones that stand above the rest.
Yeah, exactly. Because you like them all for different reasons.
Yeah.
But I'd say we hit up a lot because I would say Reservoir Dogs would be another one. We kind of talked about that already.
Yeah.
Same with Pulp Fiction. Same with Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah.
What a coincidence. They're all fucking amazing. Kill Bill. Oh God.
Tarantino. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that touches on quite a few. Oh, Saving Private Ryan. Oof.
Oh yeah.
How could I forget that?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I think it's a solid.
So we can go on to our numero uno, and for me, it's that it was like the same thing we do with our top 5s. All right, my number 1 is this. What's the rest?
Yeah, same.
Number 1, role models. Because we talk about how I love comedy movies, and to make me laugh as hysterical as Role Models does is very rare. That is usually saved only for Family Guy or Archer.
Yeah.
So to put it in movie form and to the point where I could watch, I have Role Models on my generation, like, I forget what the generation of my iPod is, but I got in 8th grade, put it that way, and I'm 23 years old. So I have it on my iPod for when I make longer trips, like road trips, so I can watch it. And the one-liners are, I mean, you don't even have to talk about them to the point where Role Models, the one-liners are just endless, and I just love quoting that movie. But the actors are good. I love Paul Rudd. And I forget who's the other guy, but he's from the American Pie series, right?
Yeah, Sean William Scott.
Sean William Scott, yes. They both play hilarious characters.
He's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, just that whole cast and crew, everything to do with the story, the plot is just so outrageous.
Did
so
Judd Apatow
funny.
do that movie? Do you know?
I would not be surprised.
I would be almost more surprised if he didn't.
If he didn't do it, yeah. So, like I said, I've watched it in its entirety.
Elizabeth Banks.
Yeah.
She's always fucking hilarious.
Yeah, she plays really good in comedy movies. And especially, like I said, that whole cast just seemed to gel really well.
Yeah.
And have chemistry, and it shows on screen, especially in comedy form.
Yeah.
But I've seen it double-digit amount of times, and I'll laugh just as hard when I see it for another time. So, yeah.
That made me think of a different honorable mention though. Pineapple Express.
Oh, yep.
Goddamn. I mean, but again, Seth Rogen and James Franco.
Super bad too.
If they're Knocked Up was good, but not quite to that. Like,
yeah,
I didn't laugh. Pineapple Express. It's like I remember seeing that and I was fucking crying laughing.
You get Seth Rogen and James Franco. I mean, it's just endless.
They might as well have a reality show because they are just so fucking good.
Yeah. So what's your numero uno?
This one again, like we'll say this every time. When I do a top 5, it's like I know what number 1 is.
Yeah. It's
trying to find everything else. So this is part of a trilogy. So I picked my favorite of the trilogy. Okay. But if all 3 of these could be, if I had
one super movie,
if it was one super movie, it'd be the Lord of the Rings series.
Nice.
But Two Towers is my favorite. But I would put all 3 of those movies above anything else.
Oh wow!
And not even close.
Nice.
Like that. If I could, we talked about the invention we want to make. If it could be forgetting selective memories, I would never own anything
Watch
else.
Lord of the Rings. Credits. Boop. All right, turn it on again.
That's
credits.
All. I could live my life and die happy knowing that I spent 80 straight years watching Lord of the Rings.
Because die a happy man.
I read the books when I was really young and I did not understand them fucking at all. Because
I would imagine reading that when you were young.
It was pretty rough.
Yeah.
But I remember
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and I remember talking to. It's not quite that intricate though.
Oh, really?
The storylines. It's really.
So I will admit, I never got into Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings is not. It's not hard to follow at all. It's very simple.
Gotcha.
But I remember talking to someone's parent who they tried to remake Lord of the Rings. Basically, they released the books. They tried to make a movie. And apparently it sucked balls. I didn't know that they even tried, but it was a long time ago. And someone's like, I'd really want someone to do this right. And I'm surprised you don't get into it because elves and bows and stealth is like that's their thing.
Yeah, I feel like I should, and I feel like if I dedicated the time, because I mean, aren't the movies like 3 hours long?
It depends because if you watch the extended versions, like the last one's 4 hours and 20 minutes.
Gosh, damn! I can't even imagine. I mean, especially from an actor's perspective too.
Worth it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like if you were to watch like a whole 4-hour movie, especially if you get into it as much, it's absolutely worth it. But especially like from an actor's perspective, how much recording and production that must have taken, that must have been outrageous.
But again, some of the things that they did in these movies, the orcs, so these huge armies that have like 10,000 people, whatever, when they do the scenes and do the close-up, they're all real people. They aren't CGI. And again,
It's just all makeup and stuff.
You can notice. Like, it makes a huge fucking... Obviously, there's scenes where there are CGI, and you can tell. But it makes you appreciate the scenes that aren't so much more because you're like, oh my God, like this feels a lot more real.
It's just like in video games where you notice the difference between computer-generated players and players that they actually physically put the balls on and like get their motions and their facial features and stuff. You notice a significant difference.
Yeah, so it was just, I love the storyline. I loved the characters. And especially in these movies, I think the acting was really well done. The actors that play Merry and Pippin are fucking perfect. Gandalf is perfect. Viggo Mortensen. Viggo Mortensen's great, and Orlando Bloom is Legolas.
Yeah.
Oh my God! And then his like banter with Gimli. Holy fuck, dude! That move. I can't even talk about it without just getting blood flow. It's just like it's so.
Tom, for some reason, the table's rising in your end. It's so weird.
Yeah, it's perfect. I've always loved it, and the thing is, I've never thought of myself as like someone who likes fantasy shit in general. But, oof, man. That totally takes the cake.
Yeah, that is a great numero uno. I thought Role Models was going to be in your top 5, but hey, it's good that we have...
I didn't have any comedies.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's just kind of tough because with movies, even with TV shows, it was like, I don't know, this isn't like a good show.
Yeah.
But it's really
show
funny.
I enjoy.
Because like Role Models, it's like, is the movie like... Because again, it's like we're not movie critics or anything. Yeah. So, I mean, people...
Dissecting the plot structure? No.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like with Role Models, it's like, that movie's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Is it a great movie? No. It's not.
Yeah.
Same with Pineapple Express.
But it's not trying to be.
Yeah, it's not. That's not the fucking point. It's supposed to make you laugh.
Yeah.
Give us yucks.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. So if you want to let us know your top 5 movies of all time, or if you want to just let us know what kind of movies you like in general, or personally for me, I'd like to know what are some of your favorite horror movies. That would be kind of interesting to know. Let us know in the comment section below, or as always, go to patreon.com/TJENT, donate $1.25 or $10. Post on that wall, and you get yourself on the show.
Fair enough.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Real Talk with Tom and Joey, episode 11. Every single week, Tom and I bring 2 random topics of discussion to the table for your entertainment, while most importantly, keeping it real. If you enjoy what we do, head over to patreon.com/TJENT, donate $1.25 or $10. Get some dope-ass stickers, along with some other rewards, along with $5 suggest a topic like Patreon supporter Adam Plumstead did for our first topic of the week. And if you don't want to watch us, that's okay too. You can go to iTunes or soundcloud.com/TJENT. Search on iTunes Real Talk with Tom and Joey, wherever combination of that. Give us a review and a subscribe. That would really be dope. Get us into more eyes and ears, and that is always helpful because we want to spread our content as much as possible. So if they don't know,
now you know.
If you don't know, now you know. Yeah, I always say I do you like in the beginning, and then I do they at the end. I just
whatever.
Yeah, they get the idea.
If they don't know,
you get the idea.
Now they kind of know.
Kind of know a little bit.
Fair.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks for joining, everybody. This has been Real Talk with Tom and Joey, episode 11.
Peace out, everybody.
And we'll see you on Monday with another episode of Straight Gaming. Peace.